Have you ever wondered what goes on in other people's heads when they're listening to a podcast show? Well, I decided to rectify that and actually ask people what was going through their minds when they listen to these conversations I've been having on this series that I'm doing at the moment. So I've got their voice notes and I'm going to share them with you today. So stay tuned.
You're listening to The Brand Compass, conversations to navigate your way to building a brand fit for purpose and poised for success. Here's your host, Shelley, Rostlund.
Hello there, my friend. Welcome back. If you're a returning listener, if you're new to me, hi, I'm Shelley. I'm your host on this conversational journey. Today, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little emotional recording this one for you today. I've shared before how lonely podcasting really is, because a lot of the time it's just me, the microphone, and the camera. If I'm really lucky, I'll have a superb guest to share the microphone with me, but everything else around podcasting is fairly lonely. However, I decided to right this wrong and make a huge effort to get some of you lovely listeners to talk to me and give me some feedback on the conversations that I have been having. And oh my gosh, did you deliver? When I say I want to hear from you, I really mean it. I don't know if what I'm doing is resonating unless you actually tell me and I get to hear from you. So if you haven't reached out, please do. I have a whole host of actual voices to share with you today, and I've asked many friends of the show to just share with me what they got out of at least one of the 6 conversations I've had so far in this series that I've been doing, and I've got lots more planned. Maybe it will urge you to go away and have a listen to the series so far, which gosh, I really hope it does. Or if you're actually one of the voices that I'm getting to feature today, thanks man, I really appreciate you. This is a slightly different episode, obviously, so this is how I'm going to do this. When I share each one of the voice notes from my lovely listeners, I'll give you a heads up as to who they are, what they do, and also just preface their sharing a little bit with which episode it is and who the guest was on, just to give you a flavor perhaps of the types of listeners we've got out there and also the context of their sharing. Then after I've shared everybody's feedback, I'll round up and I'll summarize how I've been feeling so far in terms of the series and what I'm getting out of it. And then I'll leave you to go away and chew on some things that are relative to you, your life and your work. Okay, I'm really going to try and hold it together because my heart just about bust when I heard these voice notes come in. So I really hope you enjoy this. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's get going. First up, I have Mark Masters, who listened to episode 60 with Gordon Fong, who is based in Dorset and is a specialist in the digital data and defense industry. He shared some very touching stories in his conversation with me, and this is what Mark had to say.
Hello there, I'm Mark Masters, and I listened to episode 60 with Gordon Fong. And from listening to the show, it made me understand that, well, you don't need a huge platform to start. You just need to be consistent and generous and belief in what you're doing and what you can build. Now, the part that I really did enjoy was when Gordon shared about how we can blend work and life into something that is meaningful. And it all comes from the mindset that we have to make this lasting impact in the sectors that we represent.
Thanks, Mark. Mark is the founder of the You Are the Media community and the annual conference called Creator Day, which is down in Poole. And his professional focus is on helping people and businesses grow with community-focused marketing. Next, I have Gordon himself, who's listened to the whole series as well, but he has specifically given me feedback on episode 63 with my friend 𝗓𝗛𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗟𝗟, who's based in Joburg, and she runs her own executive search business, serving clients across Africa, and she started her business in her attic with her cat. This is what Gordon had to say.
Hi, it's Gordon Fong here. I listened to episode 63 with 𝗓𝗛𝗧𝗦𝗛𝗟𝗟. What stood out for me was the part when she described how she would introduce herself as Janice from PwC, and that would really mean something. But when she left corporate life and she was just Janice, it didn't have the same business impact. Who we are, our personal brand, if you want to call it that, has to be strong enough that it's you first and where you work is secondary. I really loved when she was talking about why she wasn't getting business. So she asked someone, and they told her that you never ask about my family or ask me as a person. It's so important to be human and to care and not treat life as transactional all the time.
Oh, lovely, Gordon. And yes, so true. Gordon's work is specialised in consulting and providing digital services to support national security and law enforcement in resilience building. Really, really important work. Staying on the South Coast, next up I have Felicity Hodkinson. She gave her feedback on episode 64 with 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗟𝗟𝗓. Now, Jack is an expedition leader and shared his entrepreneurial journey to now running legendary adventures for clients up 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗟𝗟 as well as safaris in Tanzania. This is what Felicity had to say.
Hi, Felicity here. I listened to episode 64, 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗟𝗑𝗧𝗏, and in hearing his journey to where he is today, I was really reminded that sometimes it's only by doing something, in his case, running the gym, that we realise it's not quite right for us. And then, and only then, do we know the next step to take. So in each of our experiments, we find our way. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thanks, Felicity. Felicity is a coach who specialises in helping clients to better understand their workplace relationships, as well as the interconnectedness between leadership and the organisation as a whole. She is such a joy to sit and listen to if you ever get to meet her. Now, there's one episode which I've had so much feedback on when I've been either in person networking or online. And that is episodes with my talented South African friend Darren Eggleton, who is a wildlife artist. I have 3 listeners who fed back on Darren's story. Hersant is first up. She's actually our design partner in my agency Harbour 32, and she's a graphic designer with a psychology degree and works with clients on their visual brand identities, website design, and more. So this is what she had to say.
Hi, I'm Claire, and I listened to episode 67, Darren Eggleton, the incredible wildlife artist. What struck me when I was listening to the podcast was his determination and belief in his talent that took him on his personal journey and drove him to succeed in the incredibly tough world of art. His love and passion for his work is absolutely incredible, and his paintings are truly inspirational. I'm personally very passionate about big cats and have been on a couple of safaris, so it really struck a chord with me. After I finished listening to the podcast, I immediately pored over his Instagram for hours. Honestly, if you haven't seen his work, do take a look. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. Thanks, Claire. Next, my other lovely South African friend, Justin Cohen, left me this voice note.
Hey Shelley, it's Justin here, your favourite Bournemouth-based South African. I've listened to episode number 67 with Darren Eggleton. Damn, that man is super talented. What I didn't realise is that he had also been a seagoer, having been on the Queen Mary, just like me. And what I loved is that he became a subject expert by being curious, by practicing every day, by really leaning into the smallest details. And that's what you can see in his artwork. Absolutely love the episode. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Justin. Justin works for ActiSense, which are based down in Bournemouth. He's the commercial head and he looks after their sales and their marketing team. They specialise in the realm of marine electronics and they develop products that help mariners convert, digitise and share onboard device data, like super cool stuff. They get to go to some really cool conferences. Now, the third person to feedback on Darren's story is Finola Howard. Finola is an author, speaker and growth strategist based in Ireland. And bit of backstory, she came on my show on episode 54 and we dug into the topic of purpose. And it's her conversation with me that actually inspired me to do this series, believe it or not. So this is what Finola had to say in her gorgeous, honey-rich Irish tones.
Hey there, Shelley. A quick note, as you know, I am a long-time listener and big-time fan of the Brand Compass podcast. And I kind of wanted to share with you my thoughts and reflections on one of your episodes, episode 67 with Darren Eggleton. And it's an episode that just stayed with me, and it stayed with me for a number of reasons. One, the humility of Darren as he talked about his craft, talked about his genius, and that it was so intrinsically part of who he was as a person. But not just part of who he was as a person, he actually nurtured that part of himself to really dig into his own thought leadership in a space that we don't think of as thought leadership. It's the artist space, and it's he followed the passion, and he courted it, and he not quite courted it, but he nurtured that part of himself that took him to greater heights in his own career. Something that he did that was natural to him, that he followed the flow of it. And what I got from it was, if we did that, how much better would we be in our thought leadership space? Thank you so much for the episode. As always, take care.
Oh, I love you, Finola. Thanks, man. Okay, so that was 3 voice notes for Darren's episode. Now, for your final listener voice note for today, I received this lovely message from a new listener, Caroline Millington, who is a strategic brand and social media consultant based in Northamptonshire. She has worked with some impressive brands and has a load of her own great stories to share. But this is what she had to say about episode 68 with 𝗧𝗛𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗡. Steph is an inclusive, creative educator and binary leader who works at Northampton College, just down the road from me.
Hi, it's Caroline Millington. I listened to episode 68 with the wonderful Steph and found it super interesting hearing about their creativity as an educator and also a passion for skateboarding. I took away some really interesting points around being authentic to yourself and also taking accountability. I think how you conduct yourself, how you communicate with people, super important. And I really enjoyed listening to Steph talk about that. And also the fact of looking for joy and what brings you the most happiness in life and doing more of that, whether that's sort of in work or working with people that make you happy. Or outside of that as well, getting that work-life balance. So it was a fantastic episode. I'm really enjoying the series. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. And also to everyone who are featured today, who took the time to send in their voice notes: Mark Masters, Gordon Fong, Felicity Hodkinson, Claire Hersant, Justin Cohen, and Finola Howard. Now, before I give you my closing summary of how I'm feeling, there's one special listener who took the time to feedback on all the episodes and drafted this beautiful LinkedIn post that almost brought me to tears. And that was Jane Whitfield, head of private wealth at Elite Solicitors. She's a busy lady. So I'm going to read out parts of what she wrote just because it's so beautifully put together. She said this: Shelley encourages us to think of our personal brand not as a polished facade, but as the music that accompanies us when they walk into a room. What do people feel when we enter? What mood do we set? What energy do we carry? For me, this metaphor was electrifying. As a musician, I instantly started to imagine my walk-in music. Shelley defines integrity as alignment, not just honesty in action, but consistency between who you are inside and how you show up in the world. When your walk-in music matches your internal rhythm, people trust you more. And just as importantly, you trust yourself more. Gosh, I love that, Jane. So eloquently put. She also went on to share something about each of the episodes that she'd listened to. But what I'll do is just pull on this bit that she closed with, where she said the following: Each of these conversations has struck a different chord, but together they form a powerful harmony. The personal brand is not about image. It's about alignment, resonance, and being brave enough to sound like yourself. The Brand Compass show has helped me to tune into my own walk-in music and given me the tools and language to adjust when it drifts. Shelley's mix of metaphor, insight, and generosity has made this more than a podcast. It has become a quiet guide for living more truthfully. If you are navigating how to bring more integrity, alignment, and authenticity into your life or work, I'll wholeheartedly recommend tuning into the series, because Shelley's conversations with Gordon, Ryan, Janice, Jack, Darren, and Steph will meet you wherever you are on your journey. Wow, can you see why I got really teary reading that for the first time? Thanks, Jane. Honestly, I really appreciate you taking the time to give that feedback to me. Okay, all right. So let's bring our time together to a close, everybody. How did that land for you? Hearing how other people are digesting these deep bits to personal brand and bringing more of yourself into your everyday. Are you intrigued and also want to take a moment to go and see how you feel when you listen to these individual stories? Oh, please do. And remember to come back and tell me what came up for you when you have. Now, the reason I'm having these conversations with these extraordinary guests is to keep showing you that personal brand is personal. It's unique and is very much about how you want to be perceived, experienced, and ultimately remembered by your ideal people. It doesn't matter whether you're a fisherman, a cyber hacker, a cookie cutter, an accountant, a painter, or a self-defense trainer. You are the human behind the work that you do. The more you share your personality, then the real you with genuine resonating stories and exude your underlying values, the more you'll be heard and seen by the people that you're actually hoping will find you. Now, I thought I would just mention that none of these people I've talked to in this series have done any formal personal brand strategy work yet. However, after our conversation and actually seeing how it felt to talk this stuff through and really look at it, they are definitely considering it. And I am talking to some of them about getting started. Having someone to guide you through this tough inward reflection and external validation of how you think, feel, and want to be experienced is invaluable. And I'm going to just repeat what I said towards the end of a previous episode. I love that ultimately, behind all of these conversations that I'm having here, there is a fallible, tender, yet strong human being. A thinking, dreaming, and diverse character that wants to be good, do good things, make magic, and be magical for others. And there we go. That was a first for me. Did you enjoy hearing who else has the earbuds popped in their ears listening to the show while they walk the dog, cook dinner, drive the car, clean the house, do the garden? You guys are all listening together but miles apart, and I'm so very grateful for your ears and your time. You could have chosen many other things to do, but you chose this today. Thank you very much. If this episode has left you wanting more and you want to chat to me about your own personal brand and finally taking the time out to do this deep, brave and direction-giving work, then drop me a line. Let's book a time in to chat. I'll pop all my details in the show notes. Remember to keep supporting the show by doing one of 3 quick things. Number 1, either click the follow or subscribe button in the app that you're listening now, leave a review in the app of your choice, tell one new friend about the show. So, who do you know who could do with listening to this episode and knowing about the series that I am doing? Go on, share this episode. You know you want to. Until next time, my friend, stay strong, believe you have value, and make good brand decisions.
Thank you for listening to The Brand Compass. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with your entrepreneurial friends and help them make good brand decisions. Until next time, let's keep the conversation going at 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗚𝗔𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏